survive. But you don't use that to prolong life. You don't. That becomes extraordinary. But of course, who will determine what this extraordinary means? It is the doctor, right? It's the doctor. The medical doctor will determine whether it is necessary to institute extraordinary means for the patient to survive. If the respirator is extraordinary means, then of course anyone can unplug that. No? With the doctor, or they will call for a priest, no? to tell the doctor to unplug it. No? So, when it is determined, it is established that the patient is dying and it is useless to revive him, and it is not obligatory, mandatory for anyone to prolong the life, then it is not immoral to unplug it. No? It is not immoral. And we have been doing that. Sometimes I'm called just to advise the family. There's nothing wrong with that, no? Because obviously you don't prolong a life and it is not viable anymore. No? Like for example, at 65 or 70, you can still live your life at 80 or 90, you know, and still you're like your Lola, but euthanasia, when you get sick, will just kill you, or you allow yourself to be killed. In fact, ang tigulang, hindi mo kasi useless. Hindi ka lang agwanta to live with your Lolo. Pero having a Lola in your family is also very inspiring. In a Christian environment, you always would take the chance of reviving, you always think in terms of the real possibility that this patient will survive. No, will survive. Even if medically it's terminal. The only problem here in the Philippines, because we do not know exactly the borderline, the borderline between the direct killing and allowing the person to die, who is terminally ill, and who is denied of the extraordinary means of surviving. In countries where they have euthanasia, it's actually direct killing, and in fact, now they are saying that you have to have a card. You can waive your right to live. Suffering should be part of our Christian life, no? Should be part of our Christian life, and therefore, suffering should not be the motive of killing oneself or taking your life. No, you cannot do that. No? The suffering is part of our life. Should try to be vigilant. Personally, because each one should have value, especially those who are working in the hospital, the nurses, the medical doctors. They should be able to really be faithful to their vocation as a giver of life and preserver of life. But for our lawgivers, our congressmen and our senators, our politicians, government officials, they should actually be conscious of their basic obligation to uphold the absolute value of life. The moment they will start instituting even just an attempt to institute euthanasia, then we are in the bad fix, in terms of our social life, in terms of our national life, and even our own Christian life, and that is quite miserable if that happens in the Philippines.
Siguro panahon subong. Panahon ginasiguro subong. Hindi ka naman parang ginagid ni matunggan niya.
Ang kausa sang gira, actually sa warya wala ya sang winner, everybody is loser. Mangira sa Mindanao?
Oo, Mindanao, correct.
Si Luyag man na magdalin sa pisto ni Gloria kaya di nanonin niya daw ay natadi sa pakaw.
Sila guro, yung bungguan na isa sa ilay gahom.
May mangira?
Bali, wala akong magira na lang, wala na gidi. Kami ng kapigado, subong magira-gira pa, manon lang tao.
But think about this, no? Sometimes we have to fight in order to have peace.
Just war. It is a preemptive and preventive strife. It is murder on mass scale, but it can be justifiable when necessary. The end of just war is peace. Its aim is to save lives and not kill lives. But can a war really be just, or is it just plain war?
St. Thomas laid the conditions for a just war, or when a war is considered to be morally permissible. And I think that these conditions are still applicable even today, despite its being unpopular, especially among the peace advocates and the peace groups that we have.
Basically, there's no such thing as just war. Any war is always unjust because of the effects, circumstances, damo patay, damo disaster of life.
So I believe St. Thomas was right when he said that all peaceful options must be exhausted. You should not engage in a preemptive strike. The war should always be defensive in nature. Only then can such a war be considered to be justifiable.
Yeah, of course, the defense, morally speaking, the defense is always morally acceptable in terms of moral principle, because the collateral damage is the consequence of defending one's right, dignity and sovereignty in the given country. You cannot avoid that. You cannot avoid some people will be aggressors.